In today's video, 4 high quality scents from the brand of Ahmed Al Maghribi. But before I talk about them, you know that I'm George, the nice smelling gentleman, and it's time for your daily dose of some fragrance content. The 4 scents that are featured in today's video are called Blue Oud, Ignite Oud, Jude and Brule. Now, some of them have been around for a while. One of them I think is a very recent release from the brand of Ahmed Al Maghribi. And before I talk about them a little bit more, I've had my eye on a few of Ahmed Al Maghribi's fragrances for a while now, but unfortunately the sellers that are selling them around where I live are so far have been asking for crazy high prices. In some cases, some of those fragrances that I wanted to get from Ahmed Al Maghribi actually were more expensive than most famous designer scents out there. So for a long time I just couldn't experience any of them because they were highly overpriced. But recently I found an international seller that actually delivers to my country and sells them for an affordable price. And so these are the 4 ones that I ordered in my first order. Now I'm going to start with the one that in my experience has had the least amount of performance, the weakest fragrance. Not that it's a weak fragrance on its own, but out of the 4 featured in today's video, that one has been the one that has been giving me the least amount of performance, and that one is called Blue Oud. Now 3 of the 4 scents that I'm featuring in today's video actually feel somewhat close to other famous designer and niche scents that I've tried. Blue Oud, to my nose, in my experience, has been giving me a sort of similar vibes to something like Imperial Valley from Giza. Now it's not a one-to-one clone, but definitely brings similar vibes. First of all, the sprayer is pressurized and it's really nice, and in fact I think all 4 fragrances featured in today's video carry pressurized sprayers. And onto the scent of Blue Oud. Just like Imperial Valley, this has a lot of oudiness. There's an agar oud note in here, or gaiac oud, I'm not too sure, but it's something with a hint of animalic feel to it. This also feels very leathery. It feels very fresh in the opening, and also has quite a bit of a fruity and ambery sweetness with a hint of greenness, and that's why this is reminding me a little bit of Imperial Valley. But this doesn't feel like a one-to-one clone or something that's super close to Imperial Valley. This lacks a bit of the sweetness of Imperial Valley. This also lacks a bit of the freshness of Imperial Valley, and also a bit of the strength of the leather note. This is like a slightly sort of a softer version of Imperial Valley, if I can put it that way. Definitely not a one-to-one clone, but definitely brings very similar vibes. Keep in mind that there's a bit of an animalic feel from the agar oud note in here, and the combination of agar oud and leather may be a bit challenging for some people. This is supposedly a fresh take on the agar oud and leather combo, something that it's supposedly good for warm weather. To be honest, I don't see myself wearing this one in the heat of the summertime, but definitely I can wear this one throughout the year without the hottest months. So think of this one as being like you can wear this one in 8 or 9 months out of the year. It's a good quality scent, smells quite nice as long as you can tolerate a bit of animalicness in your, oud animalicness in your fragrances, as long as you like the combination of agar oud and leather. Again, the only problem that I personally find to this fragrance is the performance. Again, it's not a weak fragrance, definitely gives me around about 7 hours of performance, but I had slightly higher expectations out of this one because, that combination of agar oud and leather usually tends to be quite a strong combo. The next one that I'm going to talk about in today's video is called Jude. It comes in this sort of a red or sort of a cherry-like colored bottle. Just like Blue Oud, this is EDP concentration and 100 ml bottle size, comes nicely packaged. All 4 in fact are really nicely packaged. Again, another pressurized sprayer, and this is another very familiar scent. This one smells very similar to Latafa Hamra, so you can think of this one smelling very similar to Sava from Giza. Once again, it's a very sweet fragrance that has some spiciness in it, some oudiness, but it's all about the sweetness basically. Now this is not a one-to-one clone to neither Giza or Hamra. This feels a little bit different. Maybe feels a hint more powdery than Hamra itself. Also maybe feels a little bit nutty. I think there's At least on the note breakdown, this has a nutty note listed, but in the air this actually smells very similar to Hamra. Now, whether we need yet another Hamra-like fragrance on the markets or not, it's up to you to decide, but I'm telling you what I pick up out of this one. And because of that slight sort of on more powderness that I get out of this one compared to Hamra, I think this leans a little bit more to the feminine side compared to the OG Lattafa Hamra. But it smells nice. Again, quality is superb. This one also having very good performance. This easily lasted over 8 hours on my skin. Keep in mind, I've had this for all of them for about a week now. I've given them a few wears, and so far this has been one of the better performers out of all 4 fragrances. Definitely better than a Blue Oud, and again offers really nice quality, and the scent itself is very similar to Hamra. Again, whether we need another Lattafa Hamra-like scent on the markets or not, it's up to you to decide, but this one definitely smells very nice. Price-wise, again, around about 30 euros. Versatility-wise, this is definitely a cold weather scent. Again, I think it's unisex, but leans a little bit to the feminine side because of that ramped up powderness that this one has compared to Lattafa Hamra. The next one that I'm going to talk about is called Ignite Oud, and this is probably the best performing fragrance featured in today's video. Now here, again, you get EDP concentration, but the bottle size here is 60 milliliters. So this is slightly, and this is the most expensive fragrance featured in today's video. I personally paid around about 40 euros to get this one. So it's supposedly a little bit more of higher quality, and this is also probably the most challenging scent-wise fragrance featured in today's video. Again, great sprayer, feels pressurized. And the scent, now, if you look up this fragrance online, you'll see that a lot of people compare this one with Oud Maracuja from Maison Crivelli. But to be honest, I don't pick up that much similarities between this one and Oud Maracuja. They share some of the notes, like the leather note, the agar oud note, some of the floral notes that Oud Maracuja has. This also has a bit of a rose note. But this just feels a little bit greener. This feels more balsamic and feels like having more of an emphasis on the woodsy notes compared to the leathery notes that you get out of Oud Maracuja. This also lacks the sweetness of Oud Maracuja, that passion fruit sweetness, that fruity sweetness that Oud Maracuja has. So this feels a little bit more musky, this feels a little bit more spicy, this feels a little bit more woody, and a little bit more floral and less sweet compared to Oud Maracuja. So don't be fooled into thinking that this will get you very close to Oud Maracuja. Again, smelling distantly similar to Oud Maracuja, but definitely not super close. Keep that in mind. And also, this is a little bit more on the challenging side. In fact, this is the most challenging scent out of all 4 featured in today's video, but I personally actually like it quite a lot. Quality is absolutely superb, and the best thing out of all is that it's a very strong fragrance. Now, it's not as beastly, at least not yet, as some people claim or report, but definitely this has lasted well over 9-10 hours in my first few wearings. So this is definitely a strong fragrance that projects really nicely. It's a unisex fragrance in my opinion that leans to the masculine side, and definitely this is again more suited to the cold weather. And now let's talk about the 4th fragrance, which I think is also the newest release out of all 4 that I'm featuring in today's video. Is called Brule, and this one comes in an extrait de parfum concentration, and the bottle size here is 100 milliliters. Now, I touched upon this fragrance briefly in a video a few days ago where I showed you some of the new clones that are out on the markets, and Brule was featured in that video. Again, pressurized sprayer, although here I don't really like the distribution of the sprayer because it's more concentrated. It doesn't spray out white as good as I would have wanted it to be. Keep that in mind. And the scent itself actually smells very similar to Parfum de Marly's Altair. It opens up in a similar way with a heavy dose of vanilla sweetness, with some cinnamon spiciness, a bit of white floral somewhere in the background, some ambroxan. But this also feels a little bit different than Altair because this also has a few additional sweet notes. First of all, there's the note of caramel, which is actually quite strong in the opening and actually lasts throughout the life of this fragrance. And also in the opening, this has a bit of a coconut note. It's not super strong, but it's somewhere there in the background, and that makes it a little bit different than Altair. In the air, this actually smells very similar to Altair, but up close there's that small difference of mainly that sweet notes that are different here compared to Altair. On the dry down, this remains very sweet, it remains slightly spicy, and also you know, on the dry down that ambroxan note becomes stronger and stronger, just like you get with the original. And on the dry down, this actually is smelling closer to Altair than in the opening. Another fragrance with very nice quality, smells very nice, almost perfectly unisex, and also offers a very decent performance. Now, I've been getting about 7.5 to 8 hours of performance out of this one, so it's not the strongest one out of the bunch, but definitely it's not weak either, projects nicely. Price wise, I paid around about again 28, 9, 30 euros. So this is similarly priced to Jude and Blue Oud, and it's less expensive than Ignite Oud. All around, this is a very interesting alternative. I wouldn't call it a straight up clone of Altair, but definitely a good alternative for Altair. And at the end of the video, just wanted to touch upon something. Some people compare Brule with the Zumurrud from Arabian Oud, which I've never tried, but I've seen people also compare to Altair. So basically, even if this is a clone of Zumurrud, basically you can think of this one as being an alternative for Altair. It smells quite similar actually. And so that was pretty much what I have for you in today's video. 4 really nice scents from the brand of Ahmed Al Maghribi. Some of them with great performance, other more on the moderate side, but all of them carrying a very, very nice quality. I hope that you found this video interesting to watch. If you did, give it a like, and I also hope that you're going to join me tomorrow for your daily dose of some fragrance content. And until then, stay safe and bye bye.